Body of Joyce Scott. Who is this? Who is this? Lewis. Aaron Lewis.
Just an announcement, please.
Body of Mr. Aaron Lewis.
We are asking for your cooperation.
That's Ross.
Please ask for your cooperation.
This is the body of Faith Dillon.
Aaron Lewis, please contact this gentleman. We can't be united to the Lord of God.
Yes, stop it. They're coming by me, but touch him again. No, touch him again, before you are there. Let me touch him again. Let me touch him again. Let me touch him again. Come here. That's right. Come here, yes. Come here. You can't touch him again. Come here,
just walk, come through and go through this door. Come from the front and come through.
Yeah, there's a miss for our prestige. Then it got the prestige. You want to get the
one first and then I do a job. One first that. One first that. They got prestige. One on him.
I pay a police system to give a place and then they go on them in close them here on top of.
See them about them. No tell me say I know them. See them Miss Mama the video little one. Me say me want me pitney. Me want me pitney. Me want me pitney. Me no want that. Me no want that me pitney. Me no want that. Me no want that. Me no want that. No want that. First time a young boy, 20-year-old. Look at old man. Come give me. I don't have a murder on it today, you know. No want me pitney. No want me pitney. I'll jump off him. I'll jump off him. No want. No. Lady, you must know your pitney.
What is the name of your son?
My son name Fast and Telfa. No want me son. 20-year-old. And then the old man come for me, boy. Me no want him. I want him, my boy no got no beard for shame. My boy no got no beard for shame. No want me for no want me want. Nobody keep me and make them bury for me dead. No want for me dead. No want me dead for God real. No want me dead for God real. Jumbo there. Jumbo. Go look for the Miss man. Then I eat hard and first. You don't want that. You don't want it. 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 You already. You don't want that. You don't want that. Pastor no got beard for shame. Pastor no got beard for shame. You want it. You want it. You want it. You want it. No want me pitney. No want right. No want right. Pastor. If you have no beard. No name Joyce White. The boy named Fast and Telfa. The one first stand in Jamaica. The one first stand in the whole Jamaica. No want it. 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 No want it.
Talk
up, wrong clothes. Wrong clothes again. Wrong clothes. don't get the right clothes, she get a white suit. White gloves and white, but when she get the wrong clothes, she not put up like purple.
Miss White not a good mineral Paulo.
She get the wrong clothes, and we want the right clothes for her. We don't want the clothes she bury now. We have to get the right clothes.
The way our Miss Anglid did them when them dead. The way our Miss Anglid people when them dead, they should never get none to bring up there to bury. Miss Pa.
They have to carry and get the right clothes for her, because we need the right clothes for bury now. We don't want that, we want the right clothes.
No, the persons came with the clothes and they were placed in the box and they were identified by members of the family.
So what about the bed that fast and they say it's a wrong day? So the lady is right here.
The sister came down and identified that body.
So he says the right person?
Yes.
Well, she's complaining that her son doesn't have any beard and he's shaved.
I can't speak to her, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to the girls who identified the body when they came down there yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, he had it clothing, so that's why he's setting up like that, you know?
How many players did he match to?
We don't really know what Miss Joyce, but just the first time he did clothing.
How many was the best he shut up?
So something they squeeze in the head like?
Yeah.
And they set it up.
So that's why I look this way.
Yeah, but they are complaining that he didn't have any beard and they shaved.
And he shaved, yeah.
He didn't have any beard.
And yeah, I mean, just a good beard. A young man, you know, young man. 21 years old.
Okay, 21 years.
What? 20. Yeah, 20 years.
And his face changed. What is your name?
Gary Thompson.
Gary Thompson from Mispa?
No, Comfort Cat today.
Comfort Cat, okay. Okay, so you are from Comfort Cat and you know that is
yeah, man, in favor of family. Right now, in favor of family, you know? But I changed it to Brown when he was alive, so that's why he came.
Okay. So you are disputing the fact then that?
I know.
No, it's all right. Me I clear it up because people say it's less than that. Okay, all right, okay. Okay, all right.
Big loss, Virgin. Big loss for the community.
Yeah, man. Massacre destruction. Yeah. Take the valley. See me, I said, touch everything.
We don't have Sandra.
Huh?
We don't have Sandra.
No, I mean, I have nothing for meal bank yet. Soon as next.
Jesus said, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His compassion never fails. Every morning they are renewed.
We brought nothing into the world and we take nothing out. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
If I go, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also.
If we live to the Lord. If we die to the Lord. Whether we live or we die, we are the Lord's.
Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And he who lives and believes shall not die.
Pastor Jason Moore, the pastor of the Comfort Castle Circuit of the Adventist Churches. Pastor Samuel McQueen, Reverend Marcus Oliver, on behalf of the West Indies Union, the Seventh-day Adventists, and the Northeast Jamaica Mission of Seventh-day Adventists, we do welcome you to this very solemn occasion of this time. We would like you to know that this church grieves with you, and this church does understand the importance of turning to Christ at this time for comfort and consolation.
have come to the end of their lives. So even now, give us comfort in our sorrow. Help us to focus on you, on the eternity you offer when we follow you. Clothe the field in splendor, and how much more you have provided for us. Now, O Lord, we trust that you will bless us today.
Someday the silver cord will thread, and I no more a song shall sing, but oh, the joy when I shall reign within the palace of the King, and I shall sing, face to face, and tell the story saved by grace. Someday my early hopes will fall. I cannot tell how soon 'twill be, but this I know, my heart in home has now a place in heaven for me. And I shall see in face to face, and tell the story saved.
there are persons here that are hurting. And whilst we might not fully understand what you're going through, what we want to say is that there will come a time when there will be no more pain, no more tears. And you who are hurting can also experience that time if you give your life to God and be faithful to Him.
When you lose someone dear to you, the pain you get there, you wanna know what to do. Why should this be? Why me? Why should this be? Why me? Though it's hard, just the Lord through it all. Trust in God, though it's hard. Trust the Lord, He knows all. Trust in God. Across the bridge, there'll be no sorrow. Though no words can express your love. Ooh, why me? Ooh, why through it all? Trust in God, though it's hard. Trust the Lord, He knows all. Trust in God. Across the bridge, there'll be no sorrow.
From Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 to 12. Here begins the first verse. To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under the heaven.
And a time to born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted,
A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
a time to weep and a time to laugh, and a time to mourn and a time to dance,
A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away.
Castle SDA Church Choir. Parson Jason will be next with the message.
Guilty
people of the Grande Valley, but this time on mourning their greatest loss in history. Just to let you know that we have come at such a time in our lives when we must be prepared for everything. That includes death. A few weeks ago, myself and the other members of the clergy from the valley, we went to the morgue to support the family members who had to view the bodies for the postmortem. And I tell you, my friends, I've never seen people crushed the way I saw it. I've never seen heads bashed in the way I saw it. And I look up to the sky and I said, God, what is mine? What is mine? This afternoon, I just want you to bear with me as I try my best to speak to various levels of people who are represented here. And if I had to give this message from the Lord a topic, it would have been instruction, then experience. Instruction, then experience. Father in heaven, I give you thanks today. Not find the right words to say, but if you use me and speak through me, then your people can be comforted. I pray as your word is open, your Holy Spirit will guide our hearts. I've been young, and I'm just a little older now. And I've come to notice that we would rather see something happen before learning from it. We would rather learn from experience before following instruction. But from the Word of God, I noticed that instruction was meant to be followed before experience. It was never God's will for His people to learn by experience first. It's His will for the people to learn by instruction and then experience the blessing of following instruction. Friends of mine, Adam and Eve were given specific instructions. They failed to follow instruction, and so they had to learn from bitter experience. Joseph, a captive in Egypt, gave the king of Egypt instructions to follow to prevent a catastrophe that was coming on land. The king followed the instruction and he could celebrate the good experience. Psalm 50 verses 16 and 17 tells us, "But unto the wicked God said, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee." Whenever experience comes before instruction, we lose out big time. Whenever experience comes before instruction, we sacrifice lives and homes and food. Whenever experience comes before instruction, friends of mine, we mourn. But if instruction is followed, then we can experience good. And I want to let you know today that in this country, I am seeing too many bitter experiences before instruction is followed. And I'm saying today, my friends, that if we can get to the point where we follow instruction, then the experience will not have to be so bitter. Proverbs 13 verse 18 says, "Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored." I'm here today to speak on behalf of my people, our people in the Grande Valley, because somebody needs to follow instruction so that my people, our people, can stop having bitter experiences. For over 30 years, the people of the Grande Valley have received a check by leaders of our church, by leaders of our country, by politicians. We have received a check by those who are high and in charge. The check promised that all will be well with housing, all will be well with school, all will be well with road conditions, and all will be well with out of order bridges, all will be well with farming. But when they march down to the bank to change the check, for over 30 years, the account that is called promise has said that there's insufficient funds. But I'm here to give some instructions today from the Word of God. But as long as there's a God in Israel, as long as there's a King of Kings standing up for his people, the bank of justice will never go bankrupt. And so, my friends, to my leaders, if as leaders we begin to follow instruction, then experiences will be better for the people. Experiences will be better for what they are now. But when we refuse to follow instruction, our people get bad experiences before something is done. We are tired of losing lives before something is done. We are tired of losing homes before something is done. It's time we choose to learn by instruction instead of waiting to learn from an experience, my friends. The book of Proverbs, chapter 23, and verse 23 says, "Buy the truth and sell it not. also wisdom and instruction and understanding. And I want to, in the short moment that I have, give some instruction to those who are here today in the hearing of my voice. When you came here, before you reach Comfort Castle, this location where you are now, you had to pass a place called Friday. I serve 7 churches in this place. And every time I have to call Friday, I said, Lord, please let it be Thursday or some other day. Because it's a dangerous thing to pass through Fridays. But just before a vehicle fall over into Fridays and there become 2 Fridays, I want to give some instruction. Build a retaining wall so that the experiences can be better. When you leave here, my friends, the biggest bridge instruction, the biggest bridge is the Alligator Church Bridge. It is not looking so good. And I want you to look at the amount of cars and vehicles and big vehicles that are out there. The people in this valley are suffering because somebody failed to follow instruction. When you go back to Alligator Church Bridge, in your buses and your trucks and your SUVs, I want you to understand that if you make it cross Alligator Church Bridge without the bridge coming down, say praise God, and we need to do something for the people on the right and the body. Instruction, friend of mine. They can't do any better but to cross Alligator Church Bridge. Do not let a truck fall over before some instruction is followed. Follow instruction now so that the experiences can be good. It's God's intention for instruction than experience. In the Grande Valley, there's a place called Rabat Hole. Friends of mine, 3 o'clock in the mornings, the children that have to go to Titchfield and Compre and Portland High and as far as Hector's River, they got to get up 3 in the mornings to cross Rabat Hole, a place in the valley that is darker than midnight. Instruction. Put up some street lights so that they can experience a good walk in the morning. Do not wait until somebody falls over in the river. Do not wait until somebody is raped. Do not wait until somebody is robbed. Follow instruction now. Because my God says, follow instruction. And I'm here giving instruction. Friend of mine, I want to let you know, my heart goes out for these taxi drivers. By the way, all of you took the road to, any of you flew by helicopter? So you all drove on the road. You know what I'm talking about. Praise the Lord. Instruction. I want you to understand, friends of mine, when the taxi drivers have to get up in the mornings to take these kids to school, sometimes they cannot hold the amount of children that are waiting to go to school. And as they drive from right on the valley down to Port Antonio, they have to look out on one side for the bad road that's messing up their front end parts, and on the other side for the police officers who want to stop them. Take some instruction. My friends, it's instruction time, because we can't afford another bad experience. Hallelujah. It's instruction time. So I want you to take some instructions today. The leaders of the people, my friends, we must follow instruction until just in the valley, we must follow instruction until we get some strong bridges. We must follow instruction until we get proper water system. We must follow instruction until we get a Good Friday or Chelsea Day. Love. Love becomes action, not just a word of mouth, but I care for our people. Injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere. So when the people of the valley are experiencing injustice from these conditions, do not think that we can go away and lock up in our heart and lock the places. If there's injustice on this side, there'll be injustice on the other side. Do something. Instruction. Then experience. My friends, we believe, and the Lord teaches from His Word, that if instructions are followed, then we will get some better experiences. My friends, December 18 and 19, we lost 14 persons. And I want to let you know that it didn't have to go that way. But if my people who are called by God's name will follow instruction, we can have better experiences. And that's my message today. Now my friends, the good book tells us that our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Let me stop speaking to my leaders and speak to my people here today. God has given us instruction to serve Him. Let us not wait for an experience of death before coming to God. The instruction from God is, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. It's instruction time. God said, those of you who are heavy laden, I'm speaking to my fathers who are heavy laden. As we get up early in the morning to go to the field, to the dashing field, to the banana field that Gustav took away. Those of us who have to get up in the nights, my friends, to make sure the goods are on the truck to get to the market. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Instruction. My young people, instruction from God is this. Remember now your Creator in the days of the youth. While the evil days come not, while the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Instruction. If you follow that, the Bible says you should have good days. We are living in a time where the rich seem to be getting richer and the poor having babies. But my friends, I want to let you know that if we follow God's word, we can't go wrong. We'll never go wrong. We'll go straight. Instruction. Then experience. Now friends, I've been here nearly 2 years now. And if you're going to say, Pastor, what are you talking about? I've not been here over 30 years in the valley, but I've been here over 2 years, and I make sure I live with the people. I eat what the people eat, not musso and pork. But what I can eat, I eat with them. But friends of mine, so if there's anyone that can speak about their condition, it is us who live in the valley with our people. And we don't get opportunities until these things come around. So I must start the things. Well, let me tell you something, my friends. I told If the weather said that it's gonna rain, the following day you walk with your umbrella. And because we are living in a very Grande Valley, where we don't get any road yet, but after today we'll get some road. You must walk with your water boots. And if you don't do that, you're going to get splashed by the potholes we have here. If you don't do that, you're going to get wet. The times are telling us that the King Jesus is drawing near. Instruction. And if we want a good experience with him, we got to prepare for him now. How do we prepare for him? Not just by going to church one day for the week, but by walking Jesus and talking Jesus and living Jesus and standing up for Jesus. The wages of sin is death. That's instruction. But the experience is this. The gift of God is eternal life. The Christian is awesome. The judgment is set. The books have been opened. How shall we stand in that great day? Shall we be found before wanting? Or will our sins are washed away? Now is the time to experience Jesus. Now is the time to walk after Jesus. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Dear God, and give glory to him. Worship him. Because this is the whole duty of man. When the pastor can't help you, God will help you. When the politicians can't fulfill their promises, God will fulfill his promises. So walk with Jesus, live Jesus, and move with Jesus. God bless you.
Follow instruction. Oh, praise. Follow instruction. This is the message of all of us from the valley. Follow instruction. We give God thanks even for this.
Just to let you know that the offering that will be collected, we'll use it to help the family members. So please follow instruction.
We now have a tribute from the Portland High School. Portland High School.
Good afternoon, everyone. We too are crying because as a family, when we rejoice, and that we have received a letter from the Ministry of Education who supervises the program that these students are on, and they too send their condolences to the family and want you to know that you are in their prayers.
Shattered, but I am not broken, wounded, but time will heal. Heavy the load, the cross I bear, lonely the road I stray, I dare. Shaken, but here I stand, weary, still I press on. Longer the night, the tears I cry, darker the days, no sun in the sky, yet still I rise, never to give up, never to give in against the odds, yet still I rise. I am on the clouds, at times I feel low, yet still I rise. I must endure, I must until you rise, never to give up, never to give in against the odds, yet still you rise. I am on the ground, and yet still you
Really at this moment, when I look even at these four caskets, I've known
Aaron Lewis, Spray West Dillian, Faston Telford. At this point of our program, we have condolences from the political directorate and other branches of our government, as well as the Colonel of the Maroons, Colonel Wallace Sterling, since from Seaman's Valley, Ginger House, Kent, Moortown and Cornwall Barracks, Millbank, Comfort Castle, the people are all descendants of the Maroons. And so it is very fitting that the Colonel of the Maroons bring condolences. We have quite a number of people, so I'm going to ask that we tailor our comments and that we remember that we are here for the bereaved. And so at this time, I welcome the Honorable Mr. James Robertson, Minister without portfolio.
It is a pleasure to be here in Comfort Castle. The occasion, the circumstances that has brought us here together is not a pleasurable one. It's a very sad occasion. The Prime Minister is not able to be here today. He has been here on 2 occasions since the tragedy, and he will be here on Sunday, a week today. I say to our spiritual leaders who are here in their numbers, the solidarity and the respect and the service that you have given to the 14 families and the community that have suffered great loss cannot be valued and is unmeasurable. And I say we recognize it and thank you for what you have done and what you will continue to do as these communities and family continue to grieve. To our temporal and civic leaders, I recognize Member of Parliament Donald Rod. Good afternoon, sir. I see Senator Norman Grande, President of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, an important and integral part of a rural producing community such as Comfort Castle and the other districts and communities that have suffered great loss over the last 2 weeks. To my friend, Jamaica Labour Party caretaker Dennis Wright, Councillor Margaret Phillips, Councillor, I recognize the hard work you have been doing. I recognize a number of councillors who have come from Clarendon to stand with those here in this time of grief. Mayor Brown, Councillor Pauline Reynolds, Councillor Nemhard, Councillor Morris, and if I've forgotten any of you who have travelled, please forgive me. I recognize my friend Colonel of the Maroons, Colonel Sterling. You must be behind that pillow. I'm not seeing you at this time. And let people understand in their time of grief that we all care and we want to be part of it, even if we cannot come here today and be part of the 9 nights, the dead yard, and the official ceremonies, funeral services. We want to see and know what is happening. To the members of the media who have traveled hard and far, thank you for coming to help us carry the message out. I will quickly touch on 2 points representing the Prime Minister. Our responsibility as a government to rural development and to rural Jamaica is never forgotten. Roads, bridges, river training, the development of community centers, there is a lot to be done and we are committed to doing it. On the social side, I will say that Minister Pernell Charles was here. The Minister of Labour and Social Security has reached out to the families and those who have suffered great loss. There is more to be done. On both sides, we recognize our responsibility on the infrastructure and building and on the social side. I will say that out of the office of the Prime Minister, Minister Vaz has done a good job in reaching out and in opening bank accounts and to making it public so that the children and those who are left and who are our future will be looked after to some degree. We are being in touch with tertiary schools to get scholarships for those of the children who have suffered great loss so that they can see a full actualization of their lives. Their parents were hard workers. Their parents were farmers. Their parents were individuals who traveled by night to the city to offer a service. To Joy Scott and her family, Faye West Dillion, Aaron Lewis, Faston Omarla Telfor, our hearts and our thoughts at this time are with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Robertson. You have set a wonderful example. That will, all those who follow you will take a leaf out of your book, as they say, the popular saying goes. At this time, we'll call upon Minister Dr. Donald Rod.
Good afternoon, church.
members of the religious fraternity, Minister Robertson, Senator Grant, Mayor Brown, councillors, locally and visitors. Allow me first to apologize for the absence of the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, Leader of the Opposition, who could not be here today. She sends her sincere and warm condolences and support for your families. She'll be here next week to support the communities of the Grande Valley. In Romans chapter 12 and verse 12, it states, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Romans chapter 12, ladies and gentlemen, is a suggested reading for yesterday and today in the book Our Daily Bread, published by RBC Ministries. Earlier this morning, as I prepared this tribute, I reflected on 2 verses of this chapter in Romans. Verse 12, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. And verse 21, be not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Today, as we mourn with and provide comfort for the families of Mrs. Faye Dillon, Mrs. Joyce Scott, Mr. Aaron Lewis, and Mr. Paston Telford, it is easy for us to become angry with a desire to do evil. It is easy for us to become angry as we contemplate and think about the possible causes of this accident. However, Romans 12 verse 12, verses 12 and 21 remind us that we are to rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, that we are to continue to pray, and that we should not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Let us rewind the tape or the DVD and recount events on December 19, 2008 and thereafter. A market truck picks up 21 of the best citizens of these communities, 4 of whose lives we celebrate today. And their produce, and begins this journey to Port Antonio en route to Kingston. For Faye Dillon, a farmer, higgler, and a distinguished maroon dancer, it is a trip that she has made dozens of times before. She had labored hard and long and very diligently, for the most part without the help of a male partner, to care for her 13 children, 23 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. The Lord had blessed her with many offspring, and she saw it as her duty to provide for them as best as she could. For Joyce Scott, another farmer, higgler, mother, and grandmother, the situation was similar. She also bought produce from the farmers of the surrounding districts and sold them in the Coronation Market. Mrs. Scott had even lived abroad in Canada for several years, but returned to the land of her birth to support her family and serve her community. She was a very quiet and wonderful woman who was loved by all. We also mourn Aaron Lewis, another farmer and higgler, who was the owner of a small shop here in Comfort Castle. Aaron was an honest and decent man who worked hard to provide for his 2 children. Affectionately called Chippy, he was multifaceted as he worked the land, sold the produce in Kingston, and established a business selling goods in his community. The youngest of those whose lives we celebrate today was Paston Telford. He was not a higgler, but an accomplished self-employed farmer at his youthful age. He was accompanying his mother, Joyce Scott, a higgler and survivor. Joyce White, a higgler and survivor of the accident to Coronation Market. This is a trip which he had made several times since childhood with his mother. His mother, Father Leon Telfer, and grandmother, Mavis Richards, had instilled in him the values of hard work, discipline, and thrift. Paston had saved money from the sale of his produce and was going to Kingston to buy clothes and other necessities. On that fateful night in December, none of our loved ones would reach their destination as they perished with 10 others in a horrific accident. Their untimely death has left a big void in this community and a painful wound in the hearts and minds of their families and friends. On the night of their sad passing, we witnessed the best of the human spirit as hundreds of persons from the surrounding communities worked tirelessly to rescue survivors at the accident scene. I had barely left the carol service and Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the town square when I received a call informing me of the accident. I immediately called a member of the community to ascertain the nature of the tragedy. I was told that 4 were confirmed dead at the time and several others injured. During the course of the night, the number reported dead constantly rose. I turned back from my journey home and went to the Port Antonio Hospital. I spoke to the doctors and nurses who were treating 5 of the survivors who had arrived. After speaking to some of the survivors and Sergeant Pauls by telephone of the police, I realized what was needed to support the rescue operation and the hundreds of family members and supporters there, community members. During this time, the medical team was very busy, very focused on not only treating the injured, but had prepared additional support under the leadership of Dr. Jengli of the Port Antonio Hospital to be sent to the accident site. We were informed that Linford Jackson was trapped alive under the truck. I then requested helicopter rescue and support from the JDF, an additional ambulance from the Anatomy Hospital, and 2 additional trucks with cranes from the Jamaica Public Service, and General in St. Margaret's Bay. We all know General. While all these persons and equipment were being mobilized, I was being told by the agonizing pain of Linford Jackson trapped under the truck and difficult to remove him despite the best effort. At that point, I advised Sergeant Forbes and another member of the community to find a welder to cut the section of the truck resting on Mr. Jackson at a safe distance from his body, from the rest of the body of the truck. It is easier to move a small section of the truck than the whole truck. The combined effort of hundreds of individuals and agencies, including the fire brigade, police, JPS, and medical personnel, saved the lives of Mr. Jackson and other survivors of the accident. We thank them all for their effort, their heroic efforts. We managed to utilize the goodness of the human spirit to overcome apparent evil. During the ensuing days, hundreds more individuals from the religious fraternity, government agencies led by the Honorable Prime Minister and other ministers, and supported by the leader of the opposition and the community locally, nationally and internationally, joined hearts and hands to begin to restore normalcy to the lives of the affected families. The process is going to be long, ladies and gentlemen. That is why St. Paul reminds us in Romans 12 that we must rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and continue in prayer. Collectively, we must ensure that the children of the deceased are cared for, educated, fed, and loved. The next couple of weeks will give us the opportunity to put into practice the Christian ethos of being thy brother's keeper and loving thy neighbor as we love ourselves. The next couple of weeks and months will require us to be patient, courageous, and tenacious. The scripture tells us in Isaiah 40:31, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
My brothers and sisters, we mourn today
because that's what we are according to tradition must do. We mourn because there were family and friends that we lost. There are persons who led their lives in an ordinary way, but a way that was based on truth, economic prosperity, and the will to take care of their families. We understand the tragedy of the situation, but we must not be lost in our moment of grief as to what we are and what we are about. I join with those who have spoken before to say we should not be undated by the tragedy of today. But it's important as a people of the Rio Grande Valley that we ask ourselves some critical questions, and we must provide ourselves with those answers if we are to learn anything from the death of these 14 souls and the survivors who were trapped there in that gruesome situation. There are times in the past when we were docile and there were no voice of protest against bad roads, against bad practices in terms of bad driving. We seem to take things for granted and believe that it will always go away. Today's lesson, the lives of these 14 persons, tells us that we must never accept hills of the past, bad practices, or we must stand as a people of the Rio Grande Valley in protest against what is not good, and that's what is not good for our community. Wake up the bereaved and those who have given their lives to say, this must never, ever happen again. And we as a people to ensure it never, ever happen again. For we must never forget these 14 persons that lost their lives in an unfair and unwholesome manner. I thank you.
I'm here to mourn with the mourn and weep with the weep. I'm here weeping over this situation. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let us take it to this great consideration today that this will never happen anymore. New business, new government, new intention to help the people of the Rio Grande Valley.
The Jamaica Agricultural Society mourns with the family of the bereaved, and certainly with the immediate family and extended family as it relates to this tragic accident where some 14 persons lost their lives on December 18th and 19th. Brothers and sisters, as I listen to the sermon on the whole issue of instructions and experience, I think it brings to sharp focus the contribution of our farmers to the development of Jamaica. We have in excess of 200,000 farmers that continues to traverse the rural, the nooks and crannies of Jamaica, representing over 50% of our population. It brings to sharp focus the conditions that our farmers over the last many years have had to live with, to produce, to feed this nation. As they work their fields, as they move from the rural towns to the markets, as they sell their produce and lodge their money in the banks, the profits have been retained in the urban town and has been manifested in huge concrete structures, while the people of the rural town continue to struggle with bad roads, no electricity, no water supply, and very, very bad
and adverse conditions. The lives of these 14 people must never go to waste. And as president of the Jamaica Agriculture Society, I would like to use this opportunity to commend the government of Jamaica for the support that they have given to the families. To commend the church, the Member of Parliament, other agencies that have rallied to the support of these people. And you know what that says to me? Within every Jamaican, there is an embedded spirit of love, gentleness, and kindness. But it is unfortunate that we have to wait on occasions like these to draw on those wonderful characters. What is the best memory for these 14 people? That as Jamaicans, we live as Jamaicans, and we live as our brother's keeper. In closing, I would like to renew a call by the Jamaica Agriculture Society for us to focus more on the development of our rural communities. It is a shame to see the conditions of the roads that we have to traverse on to carry out our trade. And it's about time that we deal with it once and for all. I support the call of Pastor Moore that we must deal with Friday. In particular, that it is the day before the Sabbath. We must deal with Alligator Bridge. We must deal with Ratbat Wall. In 2008, rural people should not have to live with this. And therefore we call on the powers that be to stop talking and do some acting for the sake of the rural people. I say to all of us that we must dig for a deeper resolve, that we must unite together, regardless of the fact that we support the PNP or the JLP or no P at all, regardless of the fact that we may be Catholic, Presbyterian, Seventh-day Adventist or Pentecostal. We have one common denominator. We are Jamaicans and we are God's people, and therefore we should work together for the development of Jamaica. And I say to Minister, I commend again from the Jamaica Agriculture Society the floating of a rural development bond for some $500 million that should be used extensively for the development of our rural communities, in particular our farm roads. We should not have to live with this. I was talking to the Colonel and he shared an experience. He said with all the struggles that we had from Britain, that with all the wars between the natives and the British, we have never lost 14 Jamaicans in one day. But because of the bad roads, we have lost our Jamaicans. And I want to say that the Jamaica Agriculture Society support the intervention of the public defender. And we will join with them. And I say this clearly, that the state have a responsibility to protect its people. And where the state has fallen down, then the people must receive justice. May we all pray for God's strength. And may we say to all the farmers, continue your good work, for weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
There's nothing to
Pastor before, Pastor Moore, I've said a lot about the Grande Valley. But I want to say a big welcome to you all to this Grande Valley. And I would say it like this: Akwaba Grande Kutum Grande. Grande. It takes a moment like this for us to be together. Okay, let me translate it. It says, welcome to the Royal Grande Valley, the home of the Maroons. Okay, good. Now, we have lost 14 of our members. And we must sit back and reflect on why we lose 14 of them. And at the same time, we must give God thanks and praise. Because in our moment, in our low moments, that is the time we need to praise Him even more. Because what happened is that He looks out for us. And you know, someone once said, you know, Yankee Pong never really turned his back on anybody. So God Almighty never turned His back on anyone. And we can question why it is that so many people had to die in a tragic accident. What are the answers that we are going to come up with? We're going to say it's bad roads. We're going to say it's neglect on the part of the government. We're going to say it's carelessness from the driver. We're going to look at 1,000 things. But I must say this to you, for those who don't know. When our foreparents first came to live here and they signed a treaty with the colonial government, the colonial government made it their duty to put obstacles in the ways of our foreparents to prevent them from walking from here into St. Thomas to sell their produce. What they did, they sold these lands. So you could not go through. But our foreparents did not pay any attention to it. They went about their business and they sold their produce because they had to make a living. Now the fact that the market truck went over the precipice, it doesn't mean that people are not going to go back to market. Even today, people are preparing to go to market. Because it is a way of life. This is how we eke out a living. We are poor farmers, but nonetheless we are proud farmers. Most of us are from, well, let me say, all of us foreparents are from Africa. And most of them come from out of the region of Ghana. A lot of them were Ashanti warriors, they were Fanti warriors. He says if you kill one, then 1,000 will come back to replace the one that you have killed. So when they say they are Ashanti Kutuku, that's what they mean. We will rise. We will do that which we have to do. If the roads are fixed, we're going to do what we have to do. If the roads are not fixed, we're going to do what we have to do. Because we are sure that we will find a way, even by ourselves, if we do not get the required assistance from government to fix that road. And I stand here today, and I want to say to the bereaved family, even for the victims' sake, we will find a way around this thing.
Life of Aaron Lewis, otherwise known as Chippy Hansen. He was born on the 22nd of August, 1964. He was the third child for Noel and Florence Lewis. He attended the Comfort Castle Only School, but he did not finish his education because of financial strain. At an early age, he started to do farming for his living, where he was successful in his farming. He did marketing to sustain his two children, Aaron and Lysian. His two children depended on him as he played the role of a father. On the 9th of December, he was on his way to the market about 8 miles away from home. He met a tragic accident where he died on the spot.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pastor Moore, the journey started long before December 2008. Now the journey
has taken another route. The journey has become longer. The road has become more winding. But in humility, I will continue to follow instruction. And hopefully, I know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. On behalf of the Guidance and Counseling Unit of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Culture, and also the members of staff of the Moortown Primary and Junior High School, I must say how saddened we are at this tragedy. To write the remembrance for Faston Marla Telfer, otherwise called Hulk, was just to sit with his family and listen to their story. I know their story well. Faston was an exceptional young man in that he was not like many young men his age who do not see farming, Senator Grande, as a viable option for earning a livelihood. Deep in the hills of this community, as a young farmer, Faston worked tirelessly on his farm, where he produces mostly dashing and planting that his mother would sell at the Coronation Market. Though simplistic as it might seem, Faston was indeed making his contribution to national development by helping to feed the general population and keeping the philosophy alive. Eat what you grow and grow what you eat. Faston was a hard-working young man. When he was not toiled on his farm, he found employment elsewhere by doing days work with other farmers, which would have been a prime candidate. To Faston family and close friend, say not in grief, he is no more, but live in thankfulness that he was. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Disciplinarian, tower of strength, endurance, perseverance, determined, hardworking, independent, pride, and mother, single mother of 13 children are some of the words that will remind me of Miss Faye. I knew Miss Faye all my life. The last time I saw Miss Faye was on Thursday, December 4, 2008. I came to Ginger House to collect something, and my way home, I saw her heading up the road. I stopped her to find out where she was going, as I always do. And she said to me she was going up the road. We chit-chat for a little, then departed. I told her that I wanted to see her, I won't be able to see her again until Christmas. However, this never happened. On the night of December 19th, 2008, I called my sister at about 11:30 p.m. and she told me a market truck just went over the head. I didn't even bother to ask her which truck it was. I started screaming. It took a while for me to calm down. Calming down a little, I inquired which truck it was. When I was told Raymond's truck and Miss Faye was on it, I broke down again. Miss Faye was like a mother to me, she was like a grandmother, she was a friend. I then went into denial. I said to my sister, I know Miss Faye is strong. She has been through a lot. Therefore, I know that she's one of the survivors, if anyone survived. Anyway, this never happened. I then turned my phone off because I did not want to hear the reality. As a child, I could remember going to Miss Faye's house every day. Her daughter Christine was my best friend. She still is. I can remember Miss Faye coconut drops, pudding, and grapefruit juice. Whenever time Miss Faye was going to make coconut drops, Christine would come to my house and say, Mika, Mama is going to make coconut drops tonight. And I brought one, and by the time Mama relighted the lamp, we were down on the road. And that's exactly what we did. She would rant and rage and quarrel, but we didn't mind. We were just waiting for the next round of coconut drops. Miss Faye, your words of wisdom will always be with me. You are gone, but I will never forget you. May light perpetual shine upon you.
Afternoon. Today I stand with mixed feelings. I am a sad man. Why? No farewell words were spoken, no time to say goodbye. Our loved ones were gone before we knew it, and only God knows why. Our hearts still ache in sadness, and secret tears still flow. Family members, friends, God is still God. Be of good courage and God will see us through. Time takes away the heartache and helps to ease the pain. It wipes away the tears we cry and helps us smile again. Tribute to Auntie Joyce. Auntie Joyce was my favorite grandma, and I have found her to be very loving and caring. She was a woman of very high integrity and was very industrious. Auntie Joyce was a principled woman, and she would stand up for the right things at all times. If I ever made the mistake and called her Miss Joyce, she would rebuke me instantly and insist that I say, Auntie Joyce. She would never pass through Ginger House without stopping and ask for Jane and myself. She would make sure to inquire about our welfare, our behavior, and our academic performances. Auntie Joyce loved to give gifts, so she will always take little gifts when visiting. Auntie Joyce, I certainly miss your pleasant smiles, those loving hugs, the encouraging words, and the edible Christmas yams and cakes. Auntie Joyce, I know you did not know it was time for you to go, especially the way it happened. But God knows best. We miss you, Auntie Joyce. May your soul rest in peace.
and the consolation, whose wisdom is beyond our understanding. Deal graciously with the bereaved families in their grief. Surround them with your love, that they may not be overwhelmed by their loss.
Families of Joyce Scott, Aaron Lewis, Paston Telfer, and Faye Westbillion express sincere appreciation to the relatives, friends, well-wishers, and to all who have supported us in the time of bereavement. I'm sure they were encouraged by your visits, prayers, telephone calls, and numerous expressions of sympathy. And we also want to thank those of our leaders who have been with us and the family members from the 19th of December up till now. We want to thank everyone who made today a possibility. Most of all, we want to give God thanks for allowing us good weather being here today. May God continue to bless and keep you. This time, Pastor Ashman will come with the final instructions. Please listen carefully.
Please cooperate in that regard. As you will see, there are 4 interments for those who are deceased, and for Mrs. Joyce Scott, Pastor Samuel McQueen will be doing that interment in the family plot, and for Pastor Telford, Reverend Dr. Maria's son, will be doing that interment. As I understand it, there will be a marching band that will be going in front to take those 2 up.
His heart is touched with my grief. When the days are weary and long, I tarry, I know my Savior's care. Does Jesus care? He cares, I know He cares. His heart is touched with my grief. When the days are weary and long, I tarry, I know my Savior's care. Does Jesus cares when my way is dark with an endless day? Does Jesus care when I say goodbye to the day? Oh yes, He cares. I know He cares. His heart is touched with my grief.
With the 2 caskets and there was for the other 2 caskets going down with the waiting for the marching band to come down.
You know, I have to be here sharing my condolences with everyone. You know, all of us are in deep pain. Yeah, it's just hard.
You went to the other?
Yes, I went to the other funeral. Well, I've been embraced by almost everyone, you know, so far, and we're just here together for each other.
We share our deep condolence to the bereaved family
we mourn with them today, and we ask them to dig for deeper strength for God to give them guidance. But the conditions here bring to sharp focus the state of our rural road network, and the best memory that we can have for these folks is that we get quick and decisive attention to repair the farm roads in this area. They are and the rural road network. They are certainly in a terrible condition. They are in a terrible condition. The farmers are moving from the rural areas into the towns to sell their produce. This incident brings into sharp focus that ever since we had our conflicts with Britain over 300 years ago, there's no day that we have lost 14 lives. The road conditions here has cost in one day 14 lives. And I am using this opportunity to call on the state to address it. The JS is supporting the investigation from the Office of the Public Defender, and if the state is found faulted, then the families should be compensated. We're also commending the government for the move to support the family, the Member of Parliament, the church, the entire community, and all is not lost, because the best of Jamaica has come out here. And certainly we would like to see where all Jamaicans, different denominations, political party, creed, come together and work to build rural communities. It's time for us to step forward and ensure that the rural communities receive water, light, telephone, and better road condition so that our rural people can prosper like all Jamaicans.
Just spoke to Mr. Norman Grant. Voilà, maintenant, bienvenue à mourir.
The mood is one of solidarity and support for the families and the communities. And we just want to build on this spirit for the future to keep the unity and the love and the support for these communities and these families, because they're going to need it for a very long time. And we're going to continue to mobilize outside help, international help, so we can continue the rebuilding effort. We need some help. Priority number one is the roads, right? Priority number one, and we're appealing to the government, right, just to assist us in even starting one of the roads this year. It's a celebration of the lives of the persons who contributed significantly to these communities. You know, they were an integral part of connecting rural Jamaica to urban Jamaica. They were the traders, we call them higglers. They bought the produce, took it to Kingston, and sold on behalf of the farmers. So they're really provide a critical role in the economic and social development of these communities. We're going to miss them, we love them, continue to pray for them and to support their families.
It's a sad mood, man. We all sad. We all in black, you know, and we all sad. And we love them so much because of them supply the food and bring back everything for we, you see it? You see, so we all sad and we all are mourn and we not going to stop because we miss them and we love them. Now we family them.
My son is Fastan Telfa, and right now I'm Leon Telfa, you know. So it's a nice youth, you know, see it. The man they work for them living, you know. Work and I go spend the money and then die on the way. You know, and mother, Joyce White. And my name Leon Telfa, you know, see it. Yeah, two of them go along the wall. Yeah, my last one. My last my son. But my wife not die. Seeing.
So what's the mood today? So how you feel today?
Well, I love the community we're going still, you know. Yeah, man, because I'm the father, you know. So I have to put my faith in the Father, you know, see it. That there is a God, you know. So I have to put my faith in him and just know, say. I keep the faith, you know. The true and living faith, you know. Yeah, man.
Was there one son?
No, I have 5, so. But that one is the biggest one.
I'm on my knees to the Lord on behalf of the people every day. So whenever the task came to me, the Lord said, this is a message I've been telling you a long time about, so preach this to those who need to hear it.
So what you expect to come from this? You think they're into it?
Well, if you look from the north to the south to the east to the west, we are depressed. And I'm expecting good roads. I'm expecting Alligator Church Bridge, the longest bridge in the valley, to be taken care of before another experience. I am expecting Ratbatole to get some light so it can change from Ratbatole to something else. We are expecting the people to be considered, to be looked after. That's what I'm expecting from this. Not only the politicians, all leaders, whether they be religious leaders, government leaders, all leaders, including myself, we can do more. The people of the valley, I want to say, let us continue to pray and let us continue to hope, because God is not sleeping and better must come.
Step back one step.
All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Everything to
Joyce's daughter.
Okay.
Our sins and griefs to bear.